Leave it at that. And we are... What is up, everyone? NFL Week 6 preview show starring 3 different podcasts right now. It's me, Will. We have Jake from Between the Benches. And we have Josh from To the House. Hello, gentlemen. Colton's going to be joining us in a few minutes. He's returning from a night in Atlantic City. And then Dom has some stomach issues. So we wish him the best. And hopefully he'll be back on next week. So, gentlemen, I saw this week that there is a potential for a NFL bubble that could happen. This would be in the playoffs. I saw a couple reports on this, and it's in extreme measures right now of if this can potentially happen. The host cities would be Los Angeles and Dallas, and this would be in the incredible okay, we have to protect the players. We want the season to have its proper ending, kind of like how the NBA and the NHL finished their seasons. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I personally like the idea just because of it working for the NBA and the NHL. More so the NHL, I think, did a much better job with 0 cases whatsoever. They pretty much killed it when they came out with that bubble. NBA still had some positive cases just because I feel like NBA players are a lot more riskier than probably hockey guys. I don't know, maybe. But they were bringing in people and getting people sick left and right. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea that they bring in a bubble just because let's finish the season the right way and at least attempt to finish it because who knows what the virus is going to do. So.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go.
Yeah.
I think this is a good idea in case, there is a sporadic increase in COVID cases. I mean, the Packers aren't allowing any fans in the stands this year because they are kind of like a big hot spot over there in Wisconsin. You got some other teams. I was what was it? I was watching the Dodgers Braves game. Yeah. And I was like, wait, I thought the Dodgers are from LA, but they were playing in Arlington for some reason. I'm not sure if you guys know anything about that, but I saw that was kind of weird to me. Because I know they're not letting any fans in the stands for Los Angeles. They announced that there's no fans through the entire football season moving forward. And there goes Jake.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that and why they were playing in, where did you say, Texas?
Yeah, they were playing in Arlington. I was like, oh, there's fans. I'm like, this doesn't look like Dodger Stadium. This looks a lot more improved.
Wait a second. That's crazy though. I don't know. Do they have a bubble? Is MLB doing a bubble with the playoffs?
No, they're just.
I didn't think so. Yeah,
playing wherever they want to play.
They play wherever the heck they want.
So I know the Rays are moving forward with they advanced to the World Series, and now they're waiting for Game 7 between the Braves and the Dodgers, and then that will be kind of the concluding part of the 61 game season that they had for the MLB.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And now another thing that was very interesting. The NFL canceled the Pro Bowl. There's no All-Star game this year. They are canceling it due to COVID again. So this is kind of, I don't know, I think it's a little shocking because I know some people are like, hey, if it's my first Pro Bowl, I want to participate in my first Pro Bowl. I want to go and do stuff and kind of enjoy it. I know you don't see veterans like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. They're not going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, we saw Drew Brees participate last year, but there was a whole bunch of retirement rumors, so everyone thought, hey, maybe Brees might retire.
Yeah. I don't think – I mean, I always liked watching the Pro Bowl, but I feel like the last couple of years is kind of just stale to me. Like, it doesn't feel that fun to watch. I don't know if it's just the setup that they have it in or what they're doing with it. And I think they said something about revamping it and giving it some type of different thing maybe in a couple of years, so – I hope they do and hope they bring it back and keep it going, obviously, after the virus. But you probably can't do that during the virus. So
yeah, you really can't. But, I mean, instead of having it in Hawaii like they've always had, they've had it in Orlando and Arizona. They kind of moved Hawaii away because it's not as popular as it once was because it's more so of a Hail Mary throw-off instead of an actual football game. No more Sean Taylor running into Brian Mormon, destroying the punter.
Yeah. Even those Hail Mary throw-offs, though, were insane sometimes. I think Brett Favre is the one I remember most, is that when he just chunked the ball. It's crazy how far they can throw it. But
And then all those Pro Bowl competitions too, which they did reintroduce through
yep.
ESPN having a whole competition send-off type ordeal.
Yeah.
So over the week, there's been a lot of positive cases in the NFL. Some were false positives, some were actual positive tests. But the NFL had all their testing today, no positive cases. All the games are scheduled for today, Sunday. They're all full. They're all good to go. They are all ready, and it's a welcoming sight to see no delaying games this week. Hopefully, no more delaying in games.
I'm all about it because with the postpones and the delays, it gets not a little confusing. But whenever we had that Tuesday night game, it's like, wait a second, there should not be football on
Wait
a
a
Tuesday.
minute.
Yeah, like wait a sec. I don't think we moved to Tuesday just yet.
I mean,
So yeah,
I was all for Tuesday. Tuesday football is like the best football.
yeah,
Can't have anything wrong with that.
yep. The more football, the better to me, honestly.
I know. Let's look at another one. Melvin Gordon got a DUI this past week. He's not playing in the game against the Patriots today. He is staying in Denver, dealing with a strep throat. The penalty might be coming down by the NFL. He was caught doing 39 and a 25, and kind of that entire thing happened. It was a very weird situation, incredibly weird.
Wow.
To say the
So
least.
you said DUI though, or not? He was just speeding.
He DUI. He was speeding.
DUI. Okay.
Speeding, and then the DUI.
And found out he was under the influence. Okay. I mean, that's kind of crazy. And do you think that? I mean, maybe they're just saying he has strep throat and saying he's staying back when actually he's being penalized or something like that. Do you think, or
Oh yeah, I think they.
that's what
definitely have
crosses
to
my mind for sure. I don't think he's got strep throat.
They got to protect him. It's like the Saints how they deactivated Michael Thomas last Monday, but it was because he got into a fight with one of the practice squad safeties.
Yeah. Yeah. Safety first, I guess.
Safety first. Yeah, that's really it for the headlines I have so far. I mean, what's your opinion, Jake, on the whole Melvin Gordon DUI penalty maybe coming from the NFL with that? If you heard it this week. He's frozen. He's thinking right now. He's thinking really hard.
Long, deep thoughts for Jake.
Deep thoughts for Jake.
Wow, this sucks. But I mean, like how I mean, when was there an NFL season where somebody didn't get arrested?
Yeah, that's a good point. Something's gonna happen every NFL season.
Always something. Always happens.
I'm just surprised it's not a Cowboy.
Yeah.
All the Cowboys are hurt.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, don't worry. There will be a Cowboy at some point this season that gets arrested.
Also, something I saw come across my Twitter. T.Y. Hilton has been held under 100 yards receiving in 15 consecutive games. His last 100-yard performance came against Andrew Luck in 2018.
Wow.
Quite the streak. There.
Yeah, that's a crazy streak to think about, to be honest with you. Because I wouldn't expect him not to have a 100-yard game in 16, 15 games. That's crazy.
And also, the Jacksonville Jaguars are starting their 5th kicker of the season. And they're starting a soccer player, John Brown, who has never attempted a NFL field goal in his life. Well, he tried one in the Bengals 2018 preseason, but has never attempted a field goal in college, nor the NFL. So now the 5th consecutive kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars will be starting today.
I just don't know what his production is gonna be. What's that look like? Do soccer players transfer over that well?
I mean, who's the girl that was kicking? I'm drawing a blank. I'm not sure if it was like Zach Ertz's like girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I feel like it was somebody.
She was draining like 57-yard field goals. Like Lloyd, the last name.
No, it was Alex Morgan, I think.
Alex Morgan
or Carly Lloyd.
One of those two. But I think we might see an uptick.
Or Carly Lloyd, one of the two.
Pick her.
It wasn't Julia.
We might see an uptick on actual kickers, soccer players turning into NFL kickers. I feel.
Yeah.
with how a lot of the NFL kicking is going right now.
Oh, it's atrocious.
Well, there's quite a few rugby players.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's talk about some injury news. So Deshaun Jackson's ruled out, but he's going to plan on returning against the Giants for Thursday Night Football this coming week. Odell Beckham, with his illness, is expected to play, and Jarvis Landry is expected to play with his hip and rib injuries. Leonard Fournette is going to be active today, but he's going to have a very significant lower workload than usual. Baker Mayfield is going to be playing today despite his rib injury. Drew Lock returns for the Denver Broncos from his shoulder injury he suffered week 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. DJ Chark, questionable with an ankle, likely to play. And some other ones: Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant, KJ Hamler, Dalvin Cook, Tack McKinley, Mo Alley Cox, Deontay Johnson, David DeCastro, Deshaun Jackson, as I obviously just said, Alshon Jeffrey, Lane Johnson, Matt Pryor, and Sam Darnold, all inactive. Some players returning from injury: Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, Jimmy G, Kyle Allen, Philip Lindsay, and AJ Green. And that is the injury report. Right off the tongue. So smooth.
Fantastic injury report.
So with the NFL trade line coming up, what are some players you want to see either traded or, your team kind of trades for, or just see a whole new scenery going into the season? What are like some players you're looking at to move into some greener pastures, or even kind of potentially win a Super Bowl? I thought of this when Le'Veon Bell was cut. I was like, well, he went from defeated to now Super Bowl contender. Yep. Now we have this whole stuff going on right now.
I mean, with the whole Le'Veon trade, I personally like to see him maybe get a chance, just because maybe he can actually get his attitude checked out. You know what I mean? Because obviously that's, I would say, the main problem with him and the main reason teams are hesitant on picking him up. But with all that said, he's still a solid running back to me. He obviously did better in Pittsburgh than he did for New York. But I have to think about, I'm going through rosters now to see maybe what trades I would make or something like that. So just looking through now.
I mean, I'll start this out. One trade I really want to see.
Threw me until.
One trade I honestly want to see is AJ Green get traded to the Green Bay Packers.
When he said Super Bowl.
But AJ Green to the Green Bay Packers, I think, would be a very good fit. I mean, listen, the Bengals are such a young team. Joe Burrow's targets are not AJ Green related. AJ Green had 5 receptions week 1, and they just fell off ever since. I don't think he's really valued in Cincinnati as much as he was with Andy Dalton and Ryan. No, he didn't even play last year, so I can't even say Ryan Finley. But you move him to Green Bay, and with how their injury core, their receiver core, receiving core is kind of moving out right now. Allen Lazard, you don't know when Allen Lazard's going to return because everyone recovers differently from a core injury. So having AJ Green on the outside with Devontae Adams, I think, could just make the Packers offense a much more deadlier team than it actually is.
I'm looking through some rosters now. I mean, go ahead, Jake.
The Eagles should just do whatever they can to get rid of Alshon Jeffrey.
I like that. Because as of right now, he's not helping much, is he?
I don't think he's played since last year.
Has he not played?
I don't think he's played since last year. Last time I remember,
he's barely played since the Super Bowl.
Last time I remember Alshon playing was he dropped the pass for Nick Foles and it was intercepted, and they would have beaten the Saints.
Would have won that game.
Little unfortunate sight to see there.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have a trade just because I didn't see the Le'Veon trade coming, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, he was having trouble in New York, I guess you could say, or you probably know more than I do, Will. But it just caught me off guard, I feel like. I don't know, especially going to Kansas City, maybe. Maybe that's what really surprised me. But I don't know.
I mean, with the whole Le'Veon Bell thing, they've been trying to trade him since last year. They've been trying to trade him since last trade deadline, with the whole Jamal Adams thing. I mean, Joe Douglas. No one on this team is Joe Douglas's picks except for who we got in free agency this year in the draft. So anyone's up for grabs. I mean, they're fielding calls for Quinn and Williams right now, but they're not going to move them unless the price is right. And I know, there's some talks about Darnold getting moved, and you're hearing, maybe Jamison Crowder gets moved, but Joe Douglas said to Darnold's parents when he got hired, "I'm going to protect your boy, and I'm going to get him the pieces he needs." He's taken away more pieces than he can acquiring pieces. And you look at how Robbie Anderson's going. Career renaissance down in Carolina. Now, Le'Veon Bell's going to probably be utilized like he was in Pittsburgh, actually getting receptions from the backfield. That's all I got to say on that. And now let's look at some fantasy football stardom and situms this week. What are some players or maybe people you should be looking at or maybe avoiding come this week?
Pull them on up now. Jake, you want to take this one first? Don't mean to throw you on the spot.
Well, I picked up.
Who'd you pick up?
Yeah. I picked up Madison, whatever his first name, Alexander Madison, when Dalvin Cook went down.
Yeah.
That's a solid pickup, for sure. Dalvin Cook being out is not good for that team.
I mean, no one wants my fan.
That
lag was just perfect. No one wants my lag.
No one wants my. It's okay.
I mean, two people I'm going to be looking at starting this week is Gaskin, the Miami Dolphins running back. Jets have led up the second most, points to running backs in the backfield. And Gaskin facing the Jets today, I think that's a very good lineup there. And also David Montgomery playing the Carolina Panthers. Panthers led up the most amount of points to running backs in fantasy this year. So if those two are available in your leagues, I would suggest picking them up as soon as possible.
I like Ronald Jones against Green Bay today. I think that'll be a solid one. Green Bay not defending the run that well. And also, I mean, Fournette was active last week, but he didn't get a carry. So I don't know why that would be, and neither did rookie Keyshawn Vaughn. So apparently Jones is getting all the carries in Tampa.
And now, what's one person you may sit this week that is just a confirmed sit?
I mean, I don't want to take the obvious.
Well, I mean, you should just take the obvious.
I should just take the obvious?
Yeah.
All right, fine. You should not start Josh Allen against Kansas City. That's my obvious one to me. I don't think that Buffalo is going to do anything against Kansas City the way they looked last week. Yeah, that's my sit. Don't put Josh Allen in people.
I mean, one of the key pieces.
I got one.
What is it, Jake?
So, even though the Colts are going up against Cincinnati and their run defense is terrible, I haven't had the production out of Jonathan Taylor that I thought I was going to, considering they haven't thrown to him as much since week 1, or he's really been touchdown dependent since he has not gotten the receptions from Phillip Rivers that I thought. He's only averaged like 12 points. He's gotten 12 points every week. And it may look like a good matchup, but it's not going to work, I don't think.
One of the people I may have to bench this week, Jimmy G, because, I mean, he just did not show up against the Dolphins this past week, and that was a very unfortunate sight as someone that has Jimmy G on his fantasy roster. But, I mean, I also have Tom Brady and Gardner Minshew, so I'm okay right now with Jimmy G kind of underproducing at the moment. But that might be something to look at moving forward with the 49ers as a general whole of a team.
So we talked about it earlier with Melvin Gordon being out. Philip Lindsay obviously will be getting the carries. He's only averaging 4 points right now. Not the best look for a starting running back, even though he probably hasn't been getting the touches. But
I may honestly put Philip Lindsay as a starting running back this week.
Yeah,
Because look,
they definitely should.
they rely too heavily on what's his name, Melvin Gordon. Plus, he hasn't played since week 1 because he's had that
Yep.
turf toe injury.
Yep.
So that might be someone I would start. Another person
Yep.
I would start. The only player in the NFL right now that has 100-yard receiving in every game he's played in, Jamison Crowder of the New York Jets. Definitely start him. Because, I mean, he's a very good slot guy, and I would honestly start him. Even though Joe Flacco is trying to defend a 6-0 record against the Miami Dolphins today, which no one will be watching that game. All eyes will be on Tampa Bay and the Green Bay Packers at 4 o'clock.
I'm not watching that Jets-Miami game.
Ooh.
No offense to Will.
I'm not going to be watching that game. No way. Yeah, I can't. It's a dumpster fire there.
There's no chance.
Oh, I forgot like one headline too that we were talking about before. But the Jets are not tanking, but they are committed to lose every single game, which is a fancier word for tanking. Their eyes are set on Trevor Lawrence. Sam Darnold will be out of town at the age of 23 years old, so he's going to be picked up by a team, and he's going to be hopefully picked up by the right team and playing at the right everything at this point.
Yeah.
What does Darnold have to lose? Nothing.
That's very true. Another start that I just found too was Chase Claypool, receiver for the Steelers. With who was it? Deontay Johnson ruled out. Him and Juju will be getting all the catches, and he had 42 points last week. He's in free agency in my league, but 42
Why
points.
Why is he a free agency in your league? That's
I have no clue. I mean, we're only an 8-man league.
It's a surefire start.
6-man league maybe, but yeah, I might even pick him up to be honest with you. So that's kind of crazy. 42 points last week. He's averaging 17. So
it's that time of the week. It's this, that, this, and that, and those, and whatever kind of words that can flow with it. So I wrote down some things on my handy piece of paper I have right here to, I don't know, let's look at what everyone's doing. So, with the 4 undefeated teams left in the NFL right now, who would you prefer? The Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, or Seattle Seahawks?
who would I prefer to be undefeated at the end?
Well, who are you more sold on right now out of those 4?
Oh, well, I'm buying in on the Seahawks then. Easy choice for me. I like them as a complete team. I think they're definitely one of the more complete teams in the league right now. And I think they'll just continue and keep it going for sure.
Who do you have, Jake?
I'm committed on the Seahawks and Steelers because I think I said something on the To the House podcast that we had. I think the Steelers look special this year.
It's also something to point out. The Steelers' past 4 opponents are combined 3-15-1 in their first 4 plays. And now the next ones, I believe, are like, 13-2 or something like that. It's like some like ridiculous record with them having to go against the Titans and the Browns on that upcoming schedule right there. I mean, one team I might have to say on this is the Green Bay Packers, obviously, because they don't give Aaron Rodgers anything in the draft. They kind of just are drafting for the future at this point. But Rodgers is playing lights out right now as a lead MVP candidate at the moment. I feel that the Green Bay Packers are a pretty heavily slept on team. Even as 5-0 right now, 4-0 at their current moment. Got to go Green Bay all the way, especially with Tampa Bay, who is not really the team that we kind of thought they were going to be coming into the year. They're struggling off the bat. Green Bay Packers all the way. Now let's look at some top scoring offenses. What scoring offense do you prefer? These are within 17 points of scoring, and I'm going to go 1 through 5. So number 1, the Seahawks, 2 Cowboys, 3 Browns, 4 Saints, 5 Packers. So what offense would you prefer in this situation?
Can you say them again for me?
Seattle Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys, Cleveland Browns, New Orleans Saints, and Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to go Green Bay just because of Aaron Rodgers. I was going to go Seahawks, but I don't want to double up on them. So I'll go Green Bay here with scoring offense. I like Aaron Rodgers too much.
See, I was gonna go Green Bay just because they're balanced on run and pass, but I'll go avoid the double up. You can't bet against Russell Wilson this year. It's just you
feel
can't
that.
do it. He's too good, and they have Chris Carson, and
Just a more complete team. This one, if Dak didn't get hurt, I would say the Cowboys. I mean, you just disregard the defense. Don't even think of it. But kind of thinking about it, I think I may honestly have to go with the Dallas Cowboys here because I think Andy Dalton's out there trying to prove that he's still a starting caliber quarterback, and with how everything went in Cincinnati this past year in 2019, 2020, he wants to still prove that he's the guy. He's a quality starting quarterback. I mean, he's brought the Bengals to 4 postseason appearances, even though he's never won one under the Bengals playoff curse. With him in this offense, I think this is a very good time for him to shine. I think the Cowboys will still be able to produce the points that they had, even without Dak under center.
I actually believe they might win more games with Andy Dalton than Dak, or at least shelter the defense more.
Yeah.
I brought it up on our podcast, but just because like they have to rely on running and being more methodical than explosive with Dak, it will shelter the defense more.
Yep. I completely agree. I like Andy Dalton a lot, personally. I liked him in Cincinnati, so I think I'm just continuing to like him, even though he's on the Cowboys. I liked what Dak was doing, though, with that offense. I think he was doing pretty dang good with all the weapons that he has. I mean, it's hard not to do good, I think. So Andy Dalton should be okay in that scenario and situation.
So now the fewest points allowed by defense. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best defense, but they're pretty up there in defensive rank. So who would you prefer from 1 to 5? The Baltimore Ravens, the Indianapolis Colts, the LA Rams, Chicago Bears, or Arizona Cardinals?
That's a tough one for me. Jake, I want you to go first here, Jake. I don't know which one I'm
Those
taking.
are really the top 5 scoring defenses.
Yep, fewest points allowed by defenses.
Really, those?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me, to be honest.
Wow. Because I was really hoping the Steelers would be on that, because I would take them all day.
I was literally waiting for him to say the Steelers because I have loved watching that defense play, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with the Colts, and I feel like it's maybe a wild one, but I'm only also doing them because I believe they've allowed the least yards per game, at least last time I looked. So to allow the least yards and points, pretty solid defense, which I don't think they get the credit they deserve. So
the only reason why I wouldn't pick the Colts is because level of competition.
Yep.
But who else is on that list?
I'll reread this list again.
I forget them already.
I want to welcome on Colton. Colton, hello.
What's up, boys? And I come in and I hear I'm not buying the Colts. Wow, what a surprise, boys. Wow, who's been on that train for freaking since week 1?
No,
howdy doody, boys.
Colton, I'm buying them.
We're
still
buying the
them.
Colts.
I'm continuing to buy the Colts.
Now his whole day's ruined.
But wait. It's not the entire Colts. It's the Colts defense, okay? They've allowed the least yards per game and the least points per game. Solid defense, Colton. You can't argue it.
I'm not going to argue the defense, but y'all, especially Will, bought that stock way too early with Phillip Rivers as the quarterback. So you see how that's working out for him.
So I'll reread this list again. So the fewest points allowed by defense, who would you prefer? The Ravens, Colts, Rams, Bears, or Cardinals?
Wow.
Outside the Chiefs game, the Ravens have been decently solid every game.
Agreed. But I'm sure Colton was waiting for the Steelers to be said too, just like me and Jake.
No,
So.
Steelers back end, absolutely not. Steelers back end is a little. You can take advantage of the Steelers back end. So hey man, no bias here. Ravens defense is legit, especially in that back end, man.
Yeah.
I would have picked the Cardinals, but Chandler Jones is out the rest of the year with the biceps injury, and plus they even came out and said they don't know how to use Isaiah Simmons. Like, what do you mean? You could put him where you could put him at coach.
Wherever.
Probably coach
Anywhere. Just
Put him in
anywhere.
literally any position, the dude's gonna succeed. He's so quick.
Like that kind of blows my mind for the
Yeah.
Cardinals. But I mean, I might honestly go with the Bears because the Bears are a pretty good defense, and this is why they are able to stay in a lot of these football games and why they're 4-1. And they're probably the most like not sold 4-1 team in the entire league at this moment. But I'm still sold on the Bears. I mean, you look at what Kyle Fuller, Khalil Mack, they don't have Leonard Floyd there anymore. But the other guy, the other middle linebacker, they have Trevathan and then
Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith.
Roquan out of Georgia.
Georgia. I like the Bears defense. They're going to continue to succeed kind of throughout the rest of the season. And we're going to end up seeing what they're going to do kind of moving forward next year with a new quarterback under the helm, especially not Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky. To start a franchise, who would you start a franchise with out of these four quarterbacks? Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Deshaun Watson?
Is this a joke?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is an easy one. I don't know if we're all going to choose the same one. I'm assuming we are. But I'll take Patrick Mahomes every day of the week, every hour of the day. I mean, the dude's a freaking freak of nature, to be honest with you. The way he's able to move out of the pocket, throw the ball off his back foot, across his body. The dude is crazy. He's doing some throws that we didn't even think were possible. And the fact that he's already won a Super Bowl in his fourth season, I don't even know. It's hell of a start for the kid. So I'll take him.
He's the only one that can, consistently throw out of the whole group there. So I'll take the real quarterback out of the list.
So what are the other names in this list?
So besides Mahomes, it's Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Deshaun Watson.
Well, all right. So clearly the smart answer here is for Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna go a little different here, just to give some respect to some of the other guys in this list, because all these guys are great quarterbacks. I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. I've been high on Josh Allen since day one when he came out of from Wyoming in the draft. Yeah, I know. Hey, thumbs down, thumbs down. I've been high on Josh Allen since day one. So I'm clearly going to support my guy here. He's got some real weapons now. He's got John Brown. He's got Stephon Diggs. He's got some weapons now, and the guy's showing up and is playing really, really good football. He struggled clearly against Tennessee, but the guy, other than that, has pretty much been on an MVP caliber season this year for the Bills. Going off from last season, too, the way he ended. He played really, really good football. He's playing really good football now. Very athletic. He could definitely do a lot with his legs than Mahomes can, which in this kind of day and age of football, these quarterbacks need to be mobile. Not saying Mahomes isn't. He's mobile. We saw what he did to Tennessee in that playoff game with that run. But Josh Allen is definitely a problem with respect to my guy Josh Allen. And hats off to the other two guys on that list. Deshaun Watson is something special there. He's gotten a lot of hits, which a lot of these other quarterbacks really haven't had to deal with. Mahomes doesn't get hit like Deshaun Watson does. Lamar doesn't get hit like Watson does. Josh Allen gets hit a little bit. That's because of his own doing of being reckless running. But Watson's definitely a tough son of a gun, and he definitely needs respect, to be up in that list of quarterbacks too.
My pick, I just want to be a little different here, but I will go with Deshaun Watson. I mean, listen, Bill O'Brien kind of like killed whatever he had with, DeAndre Hopkins and kind of any other targets he really has. But working with, Fuller, Cooks, some sort of David Johnson, and also their tight end Fells, I honestly think Watson's going to be one of the better quarterbacks of the future. He's the next face of the NFL, or he currently is right now the face of the NFL alongside Patrick Mahomes and company. But I got to give the hats off to Watson there. He's a phenomenal, phenomenal player.
Only thing I have here is we didn't mention him, Lamar Jackson, so we don't leave the MVP out of this conversation. It's very hard to put Lamar in that conversation with Watson, Josh Allen, and Mahomes. I haven't seen Lamar throw the ball enough in big moments where it's like, all right, this guy, he's in that top tier. Hats off. That guy's got some talent, and he showed a lot of people up. And hats off to the guy. He's producing MVP, playoffs, both seasons he's, played. But I'm not sold on the guy. You saw it in the Kansas City game. He couldn't come back in that game. You knew as soon as you get that big lead on him, there's no shot he's coming back. You're forcing his hand to throw the ball, and he can't do it. I don't know if it's not enough weapons around him. I don't know what it is. I know he's got Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown. But you're really going to bring up Willie Snead in this conversation? Like, you can't. You can't bring him up in this conversation. So it's just I don't buy enough in the stock of throwing the ball with Lamar yet. He could get it. He could work and get it done. We've seen LeBron James change his game over the years of when he started in the league. Will we see Lamar Jackson do that in football? He took that offense took the league by storm with the running ability there with him and Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, now J.K. Dobbins. He led the league last year in passing touchdowns. So we can't say he can't throw the ball, but it's like when he's behind and the defense is going to pin their ears back and go get him, he can't do it. So that's where my kind of whole thing is here on Lamar. He's a generational talent, but golly, he's got to get the passing down, or he's not going to be viewed as a threat.
I do kind of want to hop in on that Lamar train a little bit, just because I do think that he's a solid quarterback, but I think it's in a different way than we view quarterbacks. He's definitely like changing the game as a new quarterback, and obviously being able to tuck it away and run it just like a running back or a wide receiver would with all the moves he has is crazy. So I think what Colton said in generational talent is the correct statement there. Because I don't think we've seen a quarterback like him. I don't think we will. Kyler Murray obviously can run the ball, but I don't think as quick as he is, maybe Michael Vick you can compare him to, but he's definitely solid quarterback for the future. So
like the way he is, it kind of like reminds me of like Porzingis coming into the NBA. A guy of that size being able to shoot the three. It's unheard of. Those guys was like, absolutely not as a young age. Get your ass in the post. This is what you're doing, and you're doing post moves, and you're going to the rim. This guy's out here shooting threes, and he's 7'3".
Yep.
I don't know what Lamar is. It's like your quarterback is not supposed to be running like this.
Yep.
And he is. So.
And that's like the combine wanted him to do all the receiving or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they were wanting him to try out for other positions. He's like, no, I'm doing quarterback type thing. So solid for him for sticking with it and keep it going, because obviously it's working out. So.
And that's all I have it for this or that. Let's kind of get to one of the final segments here. The locked pick. What is your locked pick for the week? What are you guaranteeing a win for this week?
Guarantee a win. Yeah, actually.
I might honestly start this out. The Miami Dolphins, I'm guaranteeing a win against the New York Jets. That is like a no-brainer for anything you have going right there. All the faith in Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though the Jets have only beaten Fitzpatrick once since he's left as the Jets starting quarterback. And, 8.5 point favorites. I think that has to just be set in stone. He's going to absolutely murder this Jets team that has let up 32 points a game on defense. So, albeit for the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, this week is kind of hard to pick any of those games. You got New England that's sitting there. That's kind of an eyebrow like raising one, and same thing with the Ravens Eagles. Otherwise, the rest of the schedule, man, you really can't sit out here and point, yeah, this game's a lock. All these games could be competitive. But I guess for me, I just mentioned I'm going to go with the Ravens over the Eagles. I think Lamar trying to get that offense rolling. I think this could be the game to get it rolling with a banged up Eagles team. This could be the game for the Ravens to, get some momentum back offensively for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to stop Lamar Jackson with our linebackers, but my pick is New England over Denver, even though they have Drew Lock. They're just missing too much on offense to be able to go against that defense. Plus, Cam Newton's back. I don't see it there.
I completely agree with Colton, and kind of backpacking off of him is kind of these games. I don't think there's a game where I think it's that obvious. I mean, like the games you've mentioned, Dolphins over Jets, maybe just because the Jets are not looking good. Ravens against Eagles, just because Ravens are looking good, Eagles aren't. But besides those two games, the only other game I might throw out there is maybe Titans over the Texans. And that's only because of Texans firing Bill O'Brien, getting him out of there. I think they're still in a transition stage. I don't think they're going to get the win over the Titans just yet. So I think the Titans are going to grab that game easy.
Yeah, and it's also kind of hard. We're not going to lie to you. The Eagles' offense looks like it's getting it together a little bit. Wentz played a good game last week against the Steelers' defense.
Yep, which is one of the top defenses too. So the fact that he was able to put up a defense.
Bolgan turned into a nice, steady,
thank you,
hands for him there in that offense. And Wentz, I mean, he turned it over twice, but otherwise, he played a pretty solid game. That offense was pretty good there for Philly. So that game could be closer than expected. It's a 10-point dog at home for Philly. So, I could also see Philly covering that spread. I think that's a big number, but that team is really banged up in Philly. So that number is big for a reason. But I could see that game being closer than expected, man. You don't know in the NFL, man. You just don't know.
And with, a whole bunch of toss-up picks, what is the upset pick of this week? I mean, there are quite a few. I forgot who I'm picking, so I have to honestly think of this really quickly.
Upset pick. I mean, you know what? I'm going to help Colton out a little here. He's been talking trash on the Colts all season. Okay. I think the Bengals can get a win against this Colts team. With the Colts, 3-2 is their record. I don't think it shows how bad they are or how good they are, maybe I could say. But the Bengals, I think, are looking decent at 1-3-1. Obviously, they're not going to get more than 3 wins, I don't think. But I think they could still win against the Colts this week because it shows Colts being a 7.5-point favorites. But I don't see that personally.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I think that's a great number. If you're betting, that's a great game to run on the spread for the Bengals. I think.
100%.
I think the Bengals cover that spread. You had the A.J. Green talk of him wanting to get out. You can see possibly A.J. Green getting more involved this weekend, or there's going to shuffle on the side, and it's going to be really Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. But I don't disagree. I guess my upset pick could be the Browns, man. This is a big game for both those teams. Browns trying to show that they're legit and they're not pretenders. I do think they have a tough task, though. Being a Steelers fan, I think the Steelers have the top 2 rush defense in with the Buccaneers. We all know how Cleveland's trying to play this year, keeping the ball to Baker's hands. This could be a big game for the Steelers defense, stopping that run with Kareem Hunt. But the Browns could be the upset there, folks. Keep your eyes on that game.
I mean, does the football team count as an underdog this week?
No, neither of those teams. I mean, that's a good luck with that game.
I'll take my Eagles as the upset pick this week.
Attaboy.
Someone I'm going to take. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons have to turn it around. I mean, you can't get any worse than what you are right now.
At some point, they're going to win a game. You've got a point, At
some point, they have to. And I think it might be today with how weak the Viking secondary actually is. I mean, they are starting to click a little more, but they still let up so many yards, so many points to the outside guys. Julio Jones comes back from injury today. And Calvin Ridley, he's not going to be eyed down as that big kind of number 1 target like he was last week, kind of getting shut down in Green Bay. And I think another location too. Yeah, against the Carolina Panthers. So my upset of the week is definitely the Atlanta Falcons moving forward.
I just want to say too that...
See, I don't want to go with them because I think if they go 0-6, it'll be hilarious because of that 6-0 season that they had.
Yeah, that's true. That's quite the ironic situation for them. But I just wanted to say that Will's lock pick was against his team, and Jake and Colton's upset picks were with and against their teams. I'm not going with the Giants. I can't choose against them. I can't pick for them. There's nothing there for me, especially playing Washington this week. So no shot.
My other 2 possible upsets, good football games, 49ers, Rams. 49ers got embarrassed against the Dolphins. Embarrassed. I could see Kyle Shanahan getting that team back. This is a must-win for them, especially in that division. This is a must-win for San Francisco. Jimmy G needs to show up, or conversations are going to be had about is his future with San Fran. He needs to put up or shut up. And other games got to be Buffalo, Kansas City. Buffalo got embarrassed Tuesday night. So that's also another game to look out for Monday night. Both teams kind of were embarrassed. That's going to be, I think, a bloodbath Monday night.
Yeah.
And that's all we have. I mean, I could go over the final injury report that Adam Schefter had just recently tweeted out. So the inactives today that he's reporting: Darius Leonard and defensive end Josh Allen, active DJ Chark, Julian Edelman, John Ross, and Anthony Costanzo. Very weird to see John Ross being active for the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe the AJ Green trade rumors might be real. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to say, is that AJ Green might be on the fence over there in Cincinnati. So
It'd be a good move for Cincinnati, to be honest. They're going to lose the guy at the end of the season. Might as well get something for him.
and you did just get that rookie T Higgins too in the draft. So I mean,
T. Higgins taking
yeah.
over that receiving core with Tyler
Yeah.
Boyd. He's got
100%.
got a nice security blanket with Tyler Boyd, and he loves going to T. Higgins, man. They are
100%.
shuffling AJ Green out of that duo there, man.
They really are, which I'm not against it just because AJ Green had the front flip, which was pretty cool. But
Hey, man, that'd be a nice, interesting piece for a Green Bay. Me and Will talked about this on our show this week. Green Bay would be an interesting move there with Mr. AJ Green. I don't know what he's got left in the tank, man. We saw what AJ Green can be when he's healthy. So I don't know what's happened to the guy. I don't know if it's just like a new face coming in where he had that repertoire with the Red Rifle Andy Dalton. Some quarterbacks have their certain guys. So you thought Sterling Shepard would be more involved in that Giants offense, and he loves Darius Slayton.
yep, he's attacking Darius Slayton through and through, and good for him, because as long as you can find somebody that you can keep with as a young quarterback, you'll be all right.
So I really would like to see a guy like AJ Green going to the Green Bay Packers. So that'd be another team to look out for if they make a move at the deadline to help Aaron Rodgers. They just, some odd reason, did not do it in the draft. For some mind-boggling reason in Philly, mind-boggling. I bet y'all wish you had Justin Jefferson now at this rate. How productive he's been in Minnesota. Mind-boggling.
I wanted them to draft him.
Mind-boggling
That was
draft.
my pick
Green Bay,
all
Philly.
season.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, no, they needed Jordan Love. You know that, Colton.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's plan 8 years in advance.
Jordan Love's a solid pick right there for sure.
NFC champs last year.
Yeah.
NFC championship game. Good idea. Let's do that.
Well, yeah, let's pick a quarterback.
Yeah, let's
That's
pick
smart.
a quarterback with Aaron Rodgers still wheeling and dealing. Good idea, guys. Jeez Louise, man.
Genius.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that shall conclude the show. You can follow all of our fantastic podcasts. I'll let everyone kind of talk about what they're doing. So I'll start out with Josh. Josh, what are you guys working on over on Talk Show U?
Talk Show U, we got another episode coming up, recording tonight, releasing tomorrow morning. Jake is joining us as well for that. Kind of talking about the Big Ten coming back next week, if they can have fans or not, maybe or not, who knows. And also some crazy games this past weekend in college football. And then obviously we got To The House as well, who will be releasing Thursday as well. So expect that soon. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that. To The House JD and Talk Show U.
Jake, what are you and Dom working on?
So we got our free agency episode coming out pretty soon. Some of the bigger names are starting to come off the board. A couple still lingering, but look out for that in the near future on Between the Benches JD. And as Josh said, I'll be on later today on To The House and Talk Show U. So, I mean, look out for those. And yeah.
And Colton, what about a Personal Foul podcast?
Personal Foul's getting back and rolling. Had some, issues and all that, and then other stuff working. Our play action pod. I got Steve Lehman coming on here this week, reported for the Tennessee Titans. Go over that whole COVID shenanigans there. I'm going to have Benaj Alani on, WNBA Most Improved Player of the Year, probably next week. And we're going to get some shows rolling again, and definitely be aware for that. You can follow the Personal Foul Podcast on Twitter at @foul_podcast. And don't forget the Play Action Podcast with me and my guy, Will. Make sure you check that out.
Locked and loaded, a bunch of content dropping within the next week. So, hey, make sure you tune in next week over here if you're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever the show might honestly be posted. I don't know. There's a new place every week. Hey, make sure you drop in, watch us. We're always dropping new content. Follow us on all the social media pages as we're just described. And, hey, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, hey, let's go. Week 6.